Good afternoon, everyone. Um, it's a real pleasure to be here, and I'm happy to introduce the topic of today. It's about looking at methane monitoring and reduction. Now, methane as a gas is one of the most potent greenhouse gas, and it is also regarded as one of the most quickest levers to impact climate change. Now, methane reduction is not about just measuring and looking at reduction. It's about how do you look at the entire value chain. It's about how do you look at the design principles. It's also about how do you look at the overall technology per se. And this panel or this team which is here today is essentially the team which has looked at it from various angles. Some team members have looked at from the process angle. Someone has looked at it from governance angle. Someone has looked at it from a new product or new technology angle, and so on and so forth. So, without much ado, what I will do is I will request each of the team members to kind of come and present their topics. So, first of all, congratulations to all of you. The first one to present will be Rajesh Singh, who's the technology catalyst lead at KBR, and his topic is advanced catalyst solution for ammonia cracking technology. So, over to you, Rajesh.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being here. I know in post-lunch session, energy can be a little ambitious, but thank you for being here, and I'm really honored standing here speaking in front of all of you, and so thank you, India Energy Week, for giving me this chance. I am Rajesh Singh, Technical Advisor at KBR from Catalyst Division, and today we will be discussing catalyst solution for ammonia cracking technology. Okay. We'll discuss it in three parts. By the end of the presentation, I hope we can understand the importance of ammonia cracking in hydrogen economy and energy transition. Then we'll move to overview of process and technology challenges, and then we will do a deep dive into catalyst, its performance matrices and advancement in development. But before that, let me introduce KBR briefly. KBR is a Houston-based technology company which provides science, technology, and engineering solutions to government and to other global industries. It has presence in over 80 countries and have 4 technical centers across the globe in Houston, London, Seoul, and in India. KBR has over 70 plus technology which can be divided into 6 divisions, namely clean ammonia and hydrogen, refining and clean fuels, olefins, chemicals, plastic recycling, and critical minerals. On the top of this, all licensing of all this technology is supported by 3 divisions, catalyst, proprietary equipment and modular solutions, digital solutions, and technical services. I come from catalyst part of KBR, and today we will discuss about ammonia cracking technology. So before going to ammonia cracking, first we need to discuss the feed for ammonia cracking, that is ammonia. And for energy transition, that ammonia should either be green ammonia coming from the renewable sources or blue ammonia coming from fossil fuels and decarbonized. KBR has technology for both of, in fact, for all colors of ammonia and hydrogen. And to explain the expertise of ammonia, KBR's expertise in ammonia production, I just want to mention these few points. Globally, more than 50% market share in ammonia production is by KBR. World's largest ammonia plant is designed by KBR. World's most energy efficient plant is designed by KBR. And also the most reliable plant, which has been running for 2,162 days, that translates to roughly 6 years. So that speaks of the reliability of KBR in designing ammonia plants. So riding on that experience, KBR now has a new technology for ammonia cracking. So that was about ammonia cracking, but why and how ammonia is suited energy carrier for energy. According to IEA, by 2050, more than 10% of world's energy will be coming from hydrogen, 12% to be precise. But hydrogen has issues. It has very low energy density. It is highly flammable. It is highly diffusive. So it's very hard to store and transport hydrogen. And there comes ammonia into the picture. So because ammonia has already established structure of storage and transportation, and it has very high hydrogen density. So it can be used as a carrier where hydrogen can be converted into ammonia, and that can be transported to the destination, and then it can be cracked into hydrogen and used in terms of energy. But the most important part, why ammonia is the perfect carrier, is because it's a clean molecule. It does not have carbon. So before understanding the technology, let's discuss the basics of ammonia cracking reaction and chemistry of it. So 2 ammonia molecules cracks into nitrogen and 3 hydrogen molecule. So that's ammonia cracking. But it is highly endothermic process. So it requires a lot of energy. To give you context, it required almost 12% of its own energy for the cracking. So it's become very, very important to make a technology which is energy efficient. KBR's ammonia cracking technology does the cracking in 2 steps. First one is adiabatic reactor and then isothermal reactor. We'll discuss this in detail. But ammonia cracking as a process as such is nothing new. It has been there for decades. So why we are talking about new ammonia cracking technology now? Because the past technologies is usually for small scale which run at very high temperatures and it is not energy efficient or cost effective. And when we are talking about energy transition and ammonia as a carrier for energy, it becomes very, very important to have an energy efficient technology. Here comes the new technology which is available for large scale, runs at lower temperature and energy efficient and cost effective. So here's the overview of KBR's ammonia cracking technology that is known as H2 ACT. Liquid ammonia is preheated with the energy used in ammonia cracking which is recycled, so it does not use external energy. It's integrated in the process. Then it goes to ammonia cracking, which happens in 2 steps, adiabatic and isothermal. Then the unconverted ammonia, if there is some, that is recovered and recycled back. And then there is product purification and product compression depending on the requirement. For example, KBR's ammonia cracking technology can produce hydrogen purity up to 75% and also 99.97% depending on the requirement. Whether it's a mix of nitrogen and hydrogen or we need purity, then we can put in PSA system. And it's highly scalable. The technology can design a plant from ranging 10 MTPD to 1200 MTPD. And even in the clean fuel mode, it can achieve efficiency up to 90%. So that was about KBR's ammonia cracking technology. But for today, our topic is catalyst for ammonia cracking technology. And we will discuss it in detail. So when we were looking for catalyst for ammonia cracking, the usual suspect was iron and ruthenium because it's inverse of Haber-Bosch process. But researchers across the globe actually scanned the whole periodic table to find the right catalyst for ammonia cracking technology. If you see the Oh, sorry. Okay. These are active metals that can used as catalyst. The green one can be used as support of the catalyst, and the cobalt blue one can be promoter for the catalyst. And if you combine, you can see it has got almost whole periodic table. But the catalyst is just not using a metal and combination of it. To find the right fit for the process, it has to be right fit not only just chemistry wise, but the physical properties of the catalyst as well. So that's how KBR select the suitable suit for its ammonia cracking technology. We'll study the process in detail. As mentioned earlier, ammonia cracking happened in two steps. First one is adiabatic reactor, which is a fixed bed reactor with no external heat. The reaction temperature ranges is 350 to 650 degrees Celsius. Pressure ranges from 20 to 40 bars. So for catalyst need for this step is the catalyst should be highly active even at lower temperature. Then the second step is isothermal reactor, which is actually a fire tubular reactor. You can imagine a typical SMR. So catalyst is inside the tube and it's inside a furnace. So here the temperature ranges is from 620 to 720 degrees Celsius, and pressure range is similar. So catalyst requirement for this step is not just the high activity, it should be highly mechanically and thermally stable as well. So to qualify a catalyst for the process, KBR partners with top-notch catalyst companies who have their catalyst for ammonia cracking and have a facility to go for detailed testing required to find the suitability of the catalyst for KBR's H2 technology. KBR leverage that expertise and provide necessary guidance and validates the data in the development of the catalyst, and then this data is integrated in KBR's process to find the optimum and right fit catalyst for the process to make the H2 process even more energy efficient. The good thing about it is KBR has an agnostic approach in selection of the catalyst. So KBR can screen catalyst based on different active metals, nickel, iron, cobalt, ruthenium, or even other novel metals. So the first step in development of catalyst is screening of the candidates. There can be hundreds of catalysts that has to be screened. That can be done in a high throughput reactor with a parallel reactor in range of 32 or 64, and you can find a short-listed suitable catalyst candidate. And then the next step is developing the kinetic model for that. Kinetic model testing is usually done in fixed bed reactor, which can actually cover the whole package of operating parameter for the technology. For example, temperature ranging from 300 to 800 degrees Celsius, pressure ranges from atmospheric to 40 bars, and varied space velocity. Once we have the catalyst kinetic for the developed catalyst, there are other testing required to encompass the holistic factor for the catalyst development. For example, deactivation catalyst testing is required to understand the behavior of catalyst across the life. Resistance to poison testing is required to understand catalyst behavior to contaminant, or rather real life feed for the catalyst. For example, commercially available ammonia has close to 2000 ppm of moisture. So it becomes necessary that during the development, catalyst is tested with 2000 to 5000 ppm of moisture in it. Then full particle testing, it becomes even more necessary in case of isothermal reactor, because their heat and mass transfer limitation come into play. and of course thermal stability to understand the effect of frequent shutdown and startups of the plant. And then scalability, raw material and life cycles can be a factor to understand the economic feasibility of the catalyst for in general or for some particular project. To give you an idea, for example, ruthenium catalyst is usually very high active even at lower temperature. But if we compare it with typical nickel catalyst, which is rather mature in technology, has higher affordability and availability, but also have reasonably good activity. So it's become very important while selecting the catalyst for the technology, we have to evaluate both the part. For example, ruthenium has a very volatile price. So depending on the project and the timing, we can understand the pricing and availability of ruthenium and can compare it with a nickel catalyst and make the decision based on that. Once we have a catalyst developed, all the testings are done, the next step is to integrate into the technology. For that, all the data received from lab level testing is integrated in the simulation for the process. And then go for the pilot testings. If pilot test data are in accordance with the lab testing, then it validates the model. Otherwise, we need to update the kinetic models, and the iteration can go unless we find a suitable fit. To summarize it all, the key consideration in catalyst selection are performance of the catalyst. So catalyst should be active enough to give ammonia conversion per pass at the least 98%. Stability of the catalyst, life of the catalyst. So catalyst life should be at least 4 years to make the economic feasibility of the project and bankability of the project. Then mechanical robustness, it's very much required because we are using fired heater. So it should be highly robust catalyst. Then cost effectiveness, I don't think I have to explain it. Then of course it should have shorter lead period and availability. So that was about the catalyst. So I quickly just update the current technology development state of the KBR ammonia cracking technology. So even though KBR has 80 years of experience of ammonia production, still ammonia cracking is a different process. So there were key challenges in designing the furnace reactor for ammonia cracking. For example, nitriding due to ammonia feed. Burner has to be defined differently because it will be using hydrogen nitrogen fix, and of course the catalyst is new one. So KBR has done their own testing and developed a design such that it mitigate all the risk involved because of these factors. And if we talk about TRL levels, KBR is currently at 7-8 TRL level because the technology is developed right now, and we are waiting for the commercial plant, which is expected in 2027, which will take the technology readiness level to 9 and above. Also, the world first ammonia cracking plant, KBR has won with Hanwha, which is 200 MTPD hydrogen production plant from ammonia cracking. That being said, at the moment KBR's ammonia cracking technology is fully developed to provide guaranteed performance even for the plant of scale of 1200 MTPD. That's it from my side. Thank you for listening, and if you have any question, I'll be available after the session regarding the process or the catalyst. Thank you.
Thanks, Rajesh. Our next speaker is Mr. Anup Maity, and he's the head consultant from Ricardo. His topic is economical production of green ammonia, overall process configuration and optimization.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Thank you for joining the session. So today we'll be discussing on green ammonia. So first I would like to set the context why we'll be talking on green ammonia. Those who are following the energy transition story. So green ammonia took the center stage of that theme. Already green ammonia is declared as one of the promising marine fuels. Green ammonia can be used as a blended fuel with natural gas. Green ammonia can also be used as a hydrogen carrier cross-border. So this is one of the molecule which is really took the attention of the developer from the energy transition theme. So here we will be talking today about the economical production of green ammonia. Why we are giving emphasis on economics? Because the green ammonia production cost currently is way high than its fossil counterpart. So it is imperative to work on the economics of that particular molecule so that we can make it more competitive and the energy transition get going. So I will be getting into this topic, just considering the green ammonia and its project economics. So let's quickly get into the today's session guide, which is we will be first understanding the integrated green ammonia complex, how we define that. Then we will be discussing about challenges, what we typically face during the green ammonia project development and its production. Then we will be talking about the dynamic modeling, the essence of today's session, how we approach and its objectives. Then configuring the integrated process, that is also one of the base building block of the modeling. Then we will be talking about the methodology and the capabilities of the tool that we are referring here. So I have listed here few benefits and business impact that we will be seeing today out of this exercise. So first thing I would like to highlight that by doing such kind of exercise, we can really save the capex in a big way. It can boost the confidence of the investor and all other stakeholders as well. We try to focus the better utilization of the resources. In turn, it will reduce the overall capex of the project. We try to find here the optimum and implementable practical solutions. It also gives the clear understanding of the overall configuration of the green ammonia complex and also how we can operate smoothly subsequently. So in this diagram, I just shown here the complex green ammonia complex, where it involves with the critical building blocks starting from renewable resource through to green ammonia production, storage, transportation and distributions. So these are the key building blocks I have highlighted here because it has a great influence on the overall project capex. By doing so, we will also keep in mind about the operation and control strategy. So that's why we figure it out how we can set up the advanced control architecture. And also another key element that we do focus here, that AI driven innovations. We envisage how we can harness the potential of the AI and further optimize the project during implementation and during operations as well. So the next stage that I would like to highlight here, the key challenges in green ammonia productions. Because green ammonia project implementation and production faces array of challenges, and these often pose the economics of the project as well as the project financing. So systematic address of these challenges can really bring the clarity and boost confidence of all the stakeholders. So to start with, the intermittency of the renewable energy and its integration, it's really a challenge, and often we see during the start of the project there is not much clarity. So that we'd like to address. Then optimum capacity utilization. So better utilization of the installed resource can really reduce the capex in a big way. So these projects are typically run by the renewable resource, the power generated from them, and the dynamic nature of it, if you can accommodate, then the fatigue cycle concept has to be addressed. Otherwise, you can either make or break the, the facilities in very near initial year of the operations. Then another topic that we often face, that storage. How much storage is the optimum for the particular project? And then managing the capability of different unit operations, starting from the hydrogen production through electrolysis or the dynamic ammonia productions. So if we can address these challenges, that boosts the confidence and often unlock the low cost financing, which in turn reduce the project capex and improve the economics. So now we are moving into the dynamic modeling, and I will discuss here how we approach and how we set the objective. So to start with the approach of this modeling, so we try to develop operational model, operational strategy, how we can really set the operation aspect of the integrated facility. We try to find out the practical and implementable solution, and we address the capability and limitations, not what we have highlighted here, but there are many other aspects as well. And then we will try to deploy the innovative solutions, including the AI. The next question always remains that what is the objective of this study? What we would like to achieve out of this exercise? There are multiple objectives you can set, and out of that you can choose few or you can choose all basically. So to do that, you have to basically, for a particular objective, one scenario can be analyzed and get the results. And then you can do the similar exercise for all the objectives and get compared. So it's not that we can't do all the objectives, but screening initially will help in terms of efforts. So the next step we will be discussing here, the configuring the integrated process, starting from RE to the ammonia productions. So I have set here 3 options, option 1, option 2 and option 3. And in vertically, I set 4 key unit operations involved in this process. So RE, always we know it is intermittent in nature. So it is, we call it as a dynamic productions. Then hydrogen productions, in option 1 we consider is a dynamic. Ammonia production we can also do the dynamic, and hydrogen storage will follow. So in option 1 all the facilities is running on dynamic guided by the renewable productions. So here we obtain the minimum storage demand. Then in option 2 the renewable will be dynamic, the hydrogen and ammonia production can be stable. So in this configuration it demands the maximum storage. Then in option 3 you can be staggered, a staged operation of hydrogen and ammonia. So out of this, the hydrogen storage or the battery storage demands in between option 1 and option 2. So you can see multiple combination can be made out of this complex array, and which creates the significant complexity and also the opportunity. So selecting the particular configuration for the particular project is key, and that's where we help you in this regard. So then we'll jump into the methodology of the dynamic modeling that we are in here. In the step 1 of the modeling, we outline the project background, starting from the renewable resource yearly production time series data. Facility configuration we talked just previously, and the grid connectivity and its storage constraints, and offtake profile and requirements. So then we get into the real challenging exercise, that is the optimization. It is a balancing act because all the resource works in different directions, and also their capex contribution will be different. So renewable resource, which or the excess energy, how we can configure that, electrolyzer capacity and the size of the energy storage, So similar to that, capex of the each unit and overall project capex and opex. So we do the balancing act in this study, in this exercise, and give one by one and select the one optimum solutions for as outcome. Then in the step 3, we get the result out of the model, scenario specific result and their sensitivity. So we get all the optimum capacity, we get the targeted output and optimum capex and so on. So now let's see that what this tool that we are talking about, and we have discussed all the approach that how we act on this problem, and we identified that this tool we already delivered a few projects to different clients across the globe. It is industry proven, that's why you call it. It brings value over market alternatives. That is already we have seen. It is embedded with different design of constraints of key units, electrolyzer or green ammonia and also the renewable resources. It captures every aspect of the dynamic green ammonia production, starting from fatigue, starting from standby, hot standby, minimum turndown and all other aspects that typically matters. Capable of screening critical case and perform sensitivity analysis. It is fully flexible and tailored to the specific project requirement, and we have seen it can potentially save up to 20% or more. That depends on where you set the base of the optimizations. If it is already optimized, we can still claim we can further optimize using this tool. I put few of the sample outputs of the model, that how it look like, but these are really sample. We can also create the project specific requirement, what developer or the clients or the off-taker wants, and we can deliver to you. So to conclude with this exercise, we can say we get out with this model is quite robust and we get very reliable results. It brings the confidence of the decision maker. It gives most optimized practical implementable solutions. Potential innovative opportunities, innovation opportunities is there. And then it reduces significant capex and clear design definition and cost of the units. So in this context of the project implementation, it have different phases. So Ricardo have the capability and competency to guide you in different aspects of different stages of the project development, starting from project ideation, initiation, feasibility, concepts, engineering, up till EPC and operations as a owner engineer. Thank you for patient listening. And if you would like to, if you have any questions, please do ask me after the session, or you can contact me through email or my mobile phone number. Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Anup. This is really good. Our next speaker is Mr. Arindam Chakraborty, who is the Vice President India Ops for Nature's Principles. His topic is mixed culture fermentation for sustainable lactic acid production for polylactic acid. So over to you, Arindam.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's been an honor to be here present at the IEW 2026 in beautiful Goa. So my name is Arindam Chakraborty and I am representing Nature's Principle here in India and working as a Vice President for this country. So today, under the patronage of Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, we all are here to discuss one of the very important topic and one of the very important building blocks for our modern society, and that is the plastics and chemicals, which is we require to energize the growth or secure the lives. So now I am little bit deviating from the green ammonia, what we have discussed a bit earlier. Now we are taking to a different one, that is the plastics and bioplastics. So before going to the main topic, I would like to start one of my photographs. Yeah. So it was happened to be, I was at Dudhsagar waterfalls over the last weekend. I arrived little early in Goa just to have few days over here. And thank you DMG for accommodating the last minute request to insert this photograph in my presentation. So thank you for that. So of course the waterfalls was very beautiful, it was very serene. So everyone of you should go and explore the places. But while I was roaming around that place, whatever I'm going to show in the next slide, without taking any offense to the forest department, they are doing wonderful job over there. But still, it's a vast country and there are so many type of people, and if anyone needs to be responsible for this, it's me, it's you, or it's us. So nothing to blame to anybody, kudos to the government officials. But yes, everything, every time we cannot control. So you have understood that what I am going to talk about, that's plastic and how to curb this single-use plastic pollution. So now going to the main topic. So the fossil-based plastic, of course. So in India or globally, most of the plastics are based on the fossil fuel. So be it carbon dioxide emission or be it microplastic pollution, it creates a lot of environmental issues. And it's a strategic risk too, means for a country like India, because much like Chinese or the European economy, we are also too much dependent on the imported fossil resources. So it's a high time for us to find an alternative in the bio-based solution. But of course, that needs to be also make some economic sense. Otherwise, nobody would like to invest the money into something that is not profitable. So from that profitable point of view, I am going to my next slide. So here means as the Nature's Principle as a company, we are bringing a technology where we are producing lactic acid, which can give up to 30% cost reduction of the OPEX and over the traditional process. And if I talk about the 30% reduction, normally I would like to take normally two routes, means because of the two reasons we have achieved this. So one is that using the unconventional feedstock. So when we see traditionally lactic acid production globally, so it uses refined sugar means as a feedstock. And all of you know the refined sugar price is around 50-60 rupees per kg. But we want to use, or we are using the molasses of the sugar industry or from the grains like rice and corn, what we use in the ethanol these days in India, which is around 20-25 rupees per kg. So straight away you can benefit 1/5 or maybe half of the price what we normally incur in the traditional lactic acid process. So that's the one aspect of looking at it. And other than that, of course, we have worked on plenty of options that how to improve the process efficiencies. Like if I have to name one or two, maybe we are incorporating ambient evaporators instead of energy intensive the traditional evaporators, or we are utilizing heat pump by utilizing any waste heat sources instead of having a full-fledged CPP to produce steam to the plant. These are the few things which I just mentioned, means among a lot of other things we have done. Now, who is Nature's Principle? I guarantee that maybe most of you or all of you haven't heard of this company. So basically, this is a startup company based out of Deloitte. Means Deloitte is a biotechnological hotspot for over the 150 years in Netherlands, and we are based out of that company. And our main mission is to convert this chemical industry towards the more bio-based one by applying a cutting-edge technology. And our main values are building on the three pillars, that is a perseverance, integrity, and empathy. And we are here, means I am now standing over here, make an international partnership just to bring that innovation to the field and in a high impact market like India. So now coming to the technologies, that's the heart of the discussion. So our core technology is fermentation. Fermentation, all of you know, means it's a very common phenomena in many of the industry. But it is little different what traditionally has been done. So in the traditionally in the lactic acid industry, in the fermentation, they use a pure culture and they need a more sterile environment. But here we use a kind of a heterogeneous culture of microbial population which doesn't need that much of nitty-gritty. So these bacteria selects themselves for a selected feedstock, that whichever is more suitable to give me higher yields. So actually the company's name of Nature's Principle is derived from these phenomena, that the bacteria on its own naturally selecting its food from the selected feedstock and it's acting on that to produce the lactic acid out of the sugar thing. So from that, just to explain that why this name is nature's principle. So going forward, so our business model is on the partnership. So our IP is based on, of course, giving the technology, but apart from that, we also rely on producing the critical process materials, which is very much required to guarantee the process or to have wonderfully run. So that's the inoculum nutrients, which is our trade secret that we supply along with the technology. And other than that, we operate on a license out model, as my colleague was saying, like very much KBR. We give the license along with all the basic engineering document, and then we vouch for the local partner or the customers who comes with the capex to invest in the technology and build the plant and have the product and sell somewhere. Now the most relevant question, why lactic acid, why I am here, why we are discussing. So most probable answer I will give you in the next slide, but in a nutshell, the lactic acid will give you higher revenue from the same feedstock what we use for the ethanol, and the global legislation also day by day supporting of adopting more bio initiatives rather than the fossil resources. So why lactic acid? So this graph we call it sugar value ladders, means at the bottom is a sugar, then as we go up we create more values. Suppose the ethanol, when we use from the sugar to ethanol, so ethanol prices these days is around 65-70 rupees per liter. But the lactic acid price minimum from the exim data, if you check, you will see that 110-120 rupees a kg. That's the minimum price, because nowadays the things happen, China is dumping all of the lactic acid to India, so the price is gone little lower. But traditionally in Europe, if you check, you can see the price of around 170-180 rupees per kg of lactic acid. So that is only lactic acid, but if you further go into the ladder and reach up to the PLA, that's the polylactic acid or bioplastics, or even green solvent like ethyl lactate, you can have more revenue, like you can sell in 250, 280, even 300 rupees per kg. So it makes sense that where you can create 3 to 8 times more revenue by having lactic acid than any other product from the same sugar, same feedstock. So it's a basic econometrics, like if I consider 80,000 tons of sugarcane molasses and I want to produce ethanol as vis-a-vis lactic acid, so the lactic acid revenue is simply the double, because the price is almost double, and lactic acid gives a very healthy margin of 20-25%, whereas ethanol maybe 10-15 minimum. Maybe you people know better than me in the ethanol sector. Now, okay, means park the question, okay, I have the lactic acid, now why I will sell the lactic acid, means what's the market? That's the basic question. So lactic acid market is steadily growing. By 2034, it is poised to reach maybe $10 billion US market, and the growth is around 8 to 10%. And it is not a single day affair. It has happened over the years because of plenty of reasons, like many countries or many unions has come to curb the single-use plastics. Then lactic acid is finding more places in fermented foods and beverages. Then in the pharmaceutical and the healthcare, it is having more uses. Then people now become more sensitive of using fossil resources than a bio-based. So all these things cumulatively acting for and pushing this industry forward. Now, as I am standing over here in India, so Indian market is very relevant for the current audience. So Indian market now is very niche. I should not say it is very big, but what the trend is showing that it would reach around $200 million US by 2030, and the growth rate, surprisingly, it is higher than the global growth rate. That is mainly driven by the 14% growth rate in the food and 10% around growth rate in the pharma. And I should mention that PLA is also a very big driver. Currently I am speaking now, and the same PLA plant is under construction in one of the facility in northern part of India. So market is there, only thing is that we need to think and we need to adapt. And talking about the applications are very versatile. So food, beverage, pharmaceutical, these are very common application. Other than that, slowly lactic acid is going towards the commodity chemical like sulfuric acid or acetic acid. So it is getting more traction in industrial and the chemical industry along with the personal and the cosmetics. But last but not the least, I should mention about the bioplastics or the PLA. So 70% of the world's production of lactic acid goes for the PLA production. And in India, currently one plant is under construction, maybe in the current 4 to 5 years, and 2 to 3 plants will come. So you will change a lot of change in this lactic acid industry in the coming 4 to 5 years. And these are very interesting applications like lactate esters. It is being used as a green solvent in a semiconductor industry or the printing industry. And India is also very booming for making chips, Make in India chips or semiconductors. So this sector is also getting a lot of traction. And other than that, like potassium and calcium lactate, that is being used as a soil fortification, or sodium lactate used in the pharma segment. So these are very niche, very small market, but with lot of value. So now coming back to the status of the technology. So as I have told, we are a startup. We are now at TRL 6. We have not reached TRL 8 or 9. So we have checked with the raw sugar beet juice in Europe, because our lab and pilot facility over there. And we have got a phenomenal result. It means over 95-97% of theoretical yield from the sucrose. What is present was in the raw sugar beet when I converted to the lactic acid. Now, India is very relevant question. Whatever I have done in Europe doesn't matter for the Indian audience. So in India also, we have gone to plenty of customers. We have collected samples from them like molasses or the grain mashes, the corn and rice. We have taken to our lab in Netherlands. We have tested on that. And from the only one single test, we have got, from all the samples, we have got very good results, around 70 to 80% without doing lot of, not tweaking too much into the process. Now we are going to have the pilot very soon in India, where we are going to do more nitty-gritty with these feedstock, so that we can target to reach around 90% of the theoretical yield from these molasses or from corn and rice, from this starchy feedstock. So now, as a company, we come as a full production chain. Of course, as I've told, that our bread and butter is a technology. We come with the technology, we will provide all the documentation, but we not only alone cannot do anything. So we are very much dependent. We have a very strong engineering partner, as well as we have a very strong R&D partners also. Because means when I talk about the R&D, we are actually doing a collaborative project where you can convert lactic acid to SAF, because nowadays SAF is a very booming word. Everyone wants to do SAF. So that also means we are developing like that. So anything like this type of niche or the novice technology, nobody can do on its own. Means you need to have a lot of partners, you need to have a lot of collaborators, so that all in all you can have a profitable and a commercial solution to the customers who is going to put their money into it. So I guess that's it what I wanted to talk. So at the end means I can end with a note that in today's world means where we live, that every day we talk about the pollution. So going towards a bio-based solution is no longer a choice, it's a necessity. But of course, at the end of the day, means that business or whatever venture we are doing, that brings profit, whomsoever is going to invest their money. So whatever I have talked means it's not a theory, or it's not just a means I am blabbering on the stage. Actually it makes sense. It's profitable business which can be done. So means my suggestion, so let's talk together and let's work collaboratively, so that these things can come and give us a more better future for us as well as for our future generations. So I am here only, means if you want to know anything about this wonderful topic of lactic acid, so you can come and we can discuss. So thank you.
Thanks, Arindam, for being on time as well. Our next speaker is Dr. Xander Dupain. He's a licensing manager at Johnson Matthey, and he's going to speak on opportunities to produce sustainable monomers and plastic from bio-BDO.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your kind introduction and a warm welcome to the audience. As you can hear, I've got a bit of a cold, so I hope I'm still audible, but apologies for that. I'll dive right into it, because we've got 15 minutes and we've got a lot to cover. But of course, before doing that, I would like to thank the organizers for giving us the opportunity to present here BDO. So what can you expect from me the coming 15 minutes? I'll start with a brief introduction about Golsanam Paunovic, as well as the Catalyst Technologies business unit. And before I can really talk about bio-BDO, I'll have to navigate you through the conventional way of manufacturing BDO. So please bear with me till the end. That's where I will get to the highlight of this presentation. So when we came to this venue, we saw a lot of posters on the sideway with the pictures of the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, as well as Dr. Sawant. And it said, transforming energy, transforming the world. And it nicely fits in with our ambition as Golsanam Paunovic to become a leader in sustainable technologies. And as we would like to call it, catalyzing the net zero. So our ambition is really to help the world in the transition to a cleaner and a healthier world for everyone. So if you come to realize that more than 90% of all the chemical products sees a catalyst somewhere in the manufacturing process, I think we have a unique capability as Golsanam Paunovic as a process technology licensor as well as a catalyst manufacturer. So that gives us a distinct advantage in developing technologies to allow a more sustainable world. Briefly showing you this slide on the technologies that we are currently have commercialized. You can see a lot of the technologies which are based on synthesis gas, which for those who don't know that is a combination of carbon monoxide and hydrogen, and is really a building block for a lot of other chemical products. So from synthesis gas you can make methanol, you can make long chain alkanes, which then you can also use for sustainable aviation fuels. We have got our LCH technology, low carbon hydrogen, which allows you to capture more than 99% of the carbon dioxide that's produced during the process. On the sustainable fuels, again, the Fischer-Tropsch technology, also based on synthesis gas, which you can derive from gasification of biomass or municipal waste, for example. But also what we have here is our emerald methanol, which is a truly green methanol, as well as our ESNG. So that's the combination of carbon dioxide with green hydrogen to form these products. You also heard already a bit about ammonia cracking. That's also something that we do. And we have a wide suite of technologies on the chemical intermediates, and that's where our butanediol process also fits in. So where are we in the value chain when it comes to BDO? We're actually really in the heart of the chain, from going from butane to the products. So we start with butane, which you can derive, for example, from LPG, but you most commonly find this as an off-gas in refineries. So a relatively cheap feedstock that you can convert into maleic anhydride, which you then subsequently can convert into butanediol. And butanediol is conventionally a monomer that's been used in plastics like PBT and polyurethanes, but more recently, over the last 5 years, we saw that it's been used mainly in the production of PBAT, which is a biodegradable plastic. So that took a flight mostly in China. When we talk about BDO, we generally don't just speak about BDO. We also talk about the co-products. So GBL, THF, and DMS. And that's all these co-products we can produce through one single technology, one single plant. So again, when we talk about butanediol, we talk about BDO itself. BDO being nowadays mainly used to produce PBAT, the biodegradable plastic, as well as a monomer for PBS, which is also biodegradable. The co-product, which is THF, which is used to produce PT, MEG or spandex, and that's what you find a lot in the clothing industry. And gamma butyrolactone or GBL, which is a solvent for pharmaceuticals or a solvent that's used to produce batteries. Also here on this slide is DMS, dimethylsuccinate, and DMS is quite interesting because DMS is also the monomer for the PBS. So when you combine BDO together with DMS, you can actually make the PBS. So a bit about the chemistry and the technology. We start off with maleic anhydride, which has been manufactured from butane. So we do an esterification step. So we react the maleic anhydride to form monomethyl maleate, and a second esterification reaction to form the DME. So once we are here with the DME, we have either the option to hydrogenate it into the end products. So we have the conversion of the DME into GBL, which is the first product. Then GBL goes into butanediol, and butanediol goes into THF. So it's actually a sequential reaction here. And that also allows us to design the process according to the specific requirement of the customer. So we can design the plant in different ratios of the end product. So BDO, we can design it as BDO Max, as we call it, but we can also design it to produce, say, about 50% THF and 50% BDO. You also see here that we can take the DMM as a side stream, and then we have the technology to hydrogenate the DMM into the DMS. And as said, DMS is one of the monomers to convert into PBS. So DMS together with BDO forms this biodegradable polymer. Now on the surface, the chemistry may look quite simple, but in fact it's quite complex. And the reason for that, that's during the conversion there is a lot of formation of byproducts. And the byproducts may not be high in content, but they are usually polymer blockers downstream. So even at ppm levels of these traces, they can cause a negative effect on the product value of the BDO. So one way to do that is to do vapor phase hydrogenation, which is a quick and a simple reaction which allows you to control the amount of byproducts being formed. And one of the famous, notorious byproducts is usually acetol, and that's a byproduct present in ppm but very detrimental to the product quality, which you need to remove. And for that we have our polishing technology included into this flow sheet, which is IP by Johnson Matthey. So what's next? What are the opportunities for bio-BDO? If you look at maleic anhydride and you compare that to the bio-derived chemicals, you can see that there is a lot of resemblance between maleic anhydride and succinic acid. So it's kind of a ring-like structure without the double bond. And that means that it can be used in the BDO process, which we have licensed for over 30 years without any major modification. So you can use it to convert for example, sugar-based feeds, cornstarch and sugarcane by fermentation into succinic acid. And especially this last one is quite interesting, especially for the Indian market, because there is a lot of bagasse production alongside the sugarcane. So from sugarcane you can derive the bagasse, and from the bagasse you can convert it into succinic acid by fermentation. And this has already been done on commercial scale, so this is not new technology. The other feed can be biomass, wood for example, or bamboo, and that means that these form an excellent natural building block for bio-BDO. It's not working. Right, so we have the same flow sheet as before, but now we have succinic acid as the feedstock. So succinic acid coming in, we convert it through deesterification into DMS, subsequent hydrogenation into the THF, BDO and GBL. So we have in fact now a biotechnology derived from a conventional technology. So what kind of opportunity does that give us? So if you look at this flow sheet, we essentially have the possibility to produce a fully green bio-BDO, which you can actually feed into what we call the bio-PBS plant. So when we start off from the renewable feedstocks, we go to succinic acid into BDO, and then BDO together with the original succinic acid gets converted into PBS. So in this case we have a fully green BDO. Again, we have the side products that we can design the process for. So we can make a bio THF or a bio PT-MEG, so that means a bio spandex, as well as the succinic acid. So succinic acid, bio-BDO, and bio-BDO can also be converted into THF by dehydration of the molecule. So if you start off with all these initial chemicals and they are green, then you can create a fully green BDO. And you also have the opportunity to integrate it with a conventional PBAT plant. So for that you will start off with the adipic acid as well as the terephthalic acid, and then you take the bio BDO side stream and you convert it together with adipic acid and terephthalic acid into the PBAT. So in this case you also have a biodegradable plastic. So about our BDO technology, it's proven technology. We have been around for more than 3 decades, so we have seen basically all of it, I would say. It produces the highest quality product. By now we have 22 licenses operating around the world in plants ranging from, say, 30,000 tons per year up to 180,000 tons per year. In total we have 1.2 million ton of licensed capacity around the globe, and we are lowering our impact on the planet because we are still trying to integrate the heat as well as make more efficient use of the feedstocks. And with that I would like to conclude my presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me after the session, or you can also visit us at our booth in hall number 2 at booth number G number 2. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Xander. So thank you so much to this entire team, and look forward to, and you can also interact with them here if you are around. Sure, thank you so much.